So let's take it right down. Kregg.
Do you ever get tired of this?
No, never. And the nicest thing is we've left the mountains behind. We've left the whole kind of hunting behind, and we're back on the coast. We're back into the coastal forest here. We're along the Indian Ocean, and the terrain has changed. We're setting up. We're waiting. We're glassing, and we hope to spot in these little openings. We hope to spot bushbuck. Hope to see a nyala, maybe see kudu, see common duiker, that kind of game. So everything has changed. We're going to test the gun at a different level now. Something we haven't done up to this point. So I'm excited for today. Hoping we can find ourselves a beautiful bushbuck tree. Well, Kregg, always a surprise when you're hunting down these coastal forests. Here we are looking for bushbuck, and out steps a warthog down the clearing below us here. We know of a good old boar that likes living down here. This particular pig I've spotted here, he's a fair boar, but he's not quite the one we've been seeing lately. So we're going to pass on him, but always surprises. Every corner there's new game, he's stepping out. You never know what to expect,
One of the things I love about coming to South Africa is you get to see all these animals that you just, see at the zoo or see in a book, I mean, it's not every day you can walk down and see mountain red buck, warthog, zebra, impala, kudu. This place is awesome.
We've got the gun to do the long range shooting. In Africa you don't always need it. I've just been looking at a little area below us here and looking for a bushbuck ram. I came around the bend, and below us is a massive warthog feeding. I'm telling you, I really want to get this big, so I don't know how long the shot's going to be this morning. I know the gun can do it, but it might not need to do the long range this morning, as long as it does its job for us. Let's try and put this pig down. He's a beauty. Let's go, my man. Go.
I love it when the PH gets excited. Let's go.
Reload the window. Hit him again. I want you to hit him again. Going through the trees. Yeah! He's running. Shoot. He's dead, man. Shoot. How did that shot feel, Kregg? Perfect. It looked good. I think the bullet's so fast. You see the way he was doing that? I think you've just gone right through him. He's such a thin-skinned animal. But I'm telling you, my man, 200-yard shot. We didn't need all the gas we got in this gun. But I tell you what, that pig is a pig and a half. It's a pig and a half. It is a magnificent warthog. at that pig. We got him, my man. Bonga did a hell of a job for us. He was dead. The gun first, he did one hell of a job for us. Blew out that bottom part of the chest there. So the gun does the trick once again. But then Bonga had a nice little exciting morning, hey? You guys haven't given him much work with these guns at all. It's only fair that he did a little follow-up, hey? Beautiful warthog, my man. We did it again, my man.
Did it again.
Did it again. Beautiful warthog. Great start to our morning. The hunt is going to be unbelievable once they see this form of footage, man. I tell you, it's going to be unbelievable. Eh? Beautiful.
That's all we do. That's all we do is put out good stuff that everyone likes to see, right?
Kidding.
That's all we do.
Beautiful.
Now we're going to show you guys how to clean this rifle after you've got, let's say, 50 or 60 rounds down the chamber. It's necking down the bore with the fouling enough that it's changing your velocity, which is changing your point of impact. So we're going to clean this gun to get it back to its original point of impact. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start out with our bore guide. We have these nice Possum Hollow bore guides. They slip right in. You can feel the O-ring engage and seal the chamber. That's going to keep all the solvents that you're working with out of your action. That's going to seal them to the bore side of the action. Now, you're going to notice that I'm going to leave this scope coat on. Now, the reason I do that is because as you're cleaning, as you're taking your cleaning rod and you're running it in and out of the bore, you maybe pull it out too far and miss and you run it right back in. You could possibly hit the end of the lens of your optics, and that would cause it to break and scratch, and you don't want that to happen because it's very expensive to fix. So I'm just going to leave the scope coat on and we'll be able to clean it, and then no solvent's going to get on my lenses, because remember, those solvents can take your coatings off as well. No solvents are going to get on the lenses, and then I don't have the opportunity to hit the lens in any way and crack it or break it. The first step of this process is we're going to take our Tipton rod and the proper jag, and we're going to use some KG1, and we're going to get a couple patches with some KG1 down the bore. Essentially what we're doing is we're taking all the big stuff out. We're going to remove all that powder fouling, all the big chunks of carbon and those kind of deposits out of your bore so that we can get down to the copper and get it cleaned out. So we'll just give it a couple drops. We'll run the patch through the bore, and if you notice, we've got a lot of them big black chunks, you know, the biggest, nastiest stuff right there. I'm going to do it again, run one more through there, and what that's going to also allow us to do is see the carbon fouling in the end of the bore. So we'll get one more patch through with some KG1 on it. And this one you might want to work just a little bit back and forth in your bore, you know, just to get all the good stuff out of there. And it looks like we got another bunch of that carbon out of there, so that's good. All right, now that we can see the copper in the end, we're going to use that as our indicator to tell us when this rifle is clean. All rifle bores start out a little bigger and taper down to the muzzle. So 85 to 90% of your fouling is going to occur on the tightest part of your bore, which is the muzzle. So we're going to use that as our indicator to tell us when this rifle is clean. So the next step in the process, we're going to take our nylon brush and we're going to get out our KG12, which is our copper cleaner. And what we're going to do is we're going to run this brush down the bore. And I always like adding the solvent to the muzzle end because that keeps me from dripping it on my stock. So we'll saturate the brush a little bit with our KG12. And then essentially what it comes down to is these KG products require movement to stay active. So what we're going to want to do is we're just going to want to start brushing. And this is where this process becomes a little monotonous because you're going to want to get 40 to 60 strokes through your rifle, and then we're going to stop. We're going to throw some patches through it, and then we're going to check and see if we've got all the fouling out of it. All right, I've got 50 strokes through there. My arm's a little sore, but what we're going to do is I'm going to run a couple dry patches down the bore to get out all that copper fouling that we've removed. and then we're going to check out the end of the muzzle and see if we've gotten all the copper out of it. Now, if we haven't, we're going to put the brush back in, resaturate, another 40 to 60 swipes down the bore, and then we'll check it again. And you'll just continue that process until you're not seeing any copper fouling in the end of your muzzle. All right, there's a couple patches. Let's look in the end of the muzzle and see if we can see any fouling. Okay, so we just looked in the end of the muzzle. As you can see, we've got a couple streaks left. So what we're going to do is we're going to reinsert the brush into the bore. We're going to resaturate with our Kg12, which is our copper remover. And we're going to proceed to do another 40 to 60 strokes. All right, now I've got all my 40 to 60 strokes in there. I'm going to run a couple dry patches, get all that solvent out of your bore so you can get a proper look at the muzzle there. All right, 2 dry patches. Now let's take a look at the end there and let's see if we can see any more copper residue left in that rifling. Well, we've looked at the end of the muzzle and we can't find any more copper left in the bore. So we've got the copper clean. Now on to the next step, which is we're going to clean the carbon out of this barrel.
Oh, we had an exciting morning. We took an awesome warhog, and we're working our way back up this canyon out of here. And Zwei, the tracker, he says there's a bush buck, there's a bush buck. So we jumped out. We worked our way around this termite field, and we set up. Carl thinks it's a pretty good one. We're gonna set up. We're gonna watch it. It's about 600, 650 right now, to that side hill where he's working his way through. So it's kind of downhill. We need to find a spot that's level, or maybe I can get prone, lay down. We've already sprayed with tick spray, so we should be okay.
We should be good.
For that. And then we'll just set up and see if he comes out and see if he's a good one. But it's about the right distance. The wind's perfect, conditions are right. So this is kind of the setup we've been hoping for all day.
Yeah.
In the far meadow, that little open gap just in the shade, you'll see a black figure. That is our bush buck ram. He fed out along that and then he laid down right there in the shade. Says this is a good ram. It's one we want to take, so we're gonna get set up right here. He's about 500 right here, 497.
That's what I'm talking about,
That
brother.
is what I'm
That
talking
is
about.
what I'm talking
I
about.
know you don't want me to touch your hair, but Carl down.
That is what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, my man. Yeah.
It's about time.
That.
Ready?
That.
Yeah, man.
Right, my man.
I love this pH.
Yeah,
I love
that's
him.
what I'm talking about.
Oh.
That is the way you drop.
Ooh. Get in here, my man. Oh.
That was the most perfect setup, dude.
That was
Eh?
textbook.
boom, down.
Textbook.
That's the way to drop them, mate. 500 yards, my man.
That feels good.
That feels good. That's I reckon of all our shots, I reckon that one was the best.
That was
Boom.
the best.
He didn't move a muscle, did he?
Not the yeah.
Look at that, he didn't move a muscle.
Look at that, my man. Absolutely beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful ram.
Oh, they're so much smaller than they look. You know,
Much
that
smaller
dark
than they
color
look.
makes them look bigger.
Much smaller than what they look. Very, very nice. But I mean, the old warrior, look at this. The scars on the eyes. Just beautiful, man. And I mean, the real dominant old ram. See how he's really been marking territory. And even there, you can see it's even, look at that. Beautiful cut on the ear, ticks on the ear, in the forest. I told you about the ticks this morning.
Yeah.
Spray for the ticks, and look there. Just beautiful animal. What I'm going to do is, Craig, I'm just going to put him out into the sun. I'd like to show you some more of his characteristics, what makes this animal so beautiful. But what we really like too is the spots on him there. That's really pretty. And if you look now in the sun, you've got a bit of ivory actually coming through where he's worn his horns through, which is really, really pretty. That I like that quite a lot. So all in all, my man, we got ourselves an old warrior here.
Well, we've just made about a 4.5 hour drive up here across the Karoo desert here, north of Port Elizabeth. We're chasing kudu today.
Okay, what we'll do is I've seen 2 nice bulls this morning, so yeah, we're going to check them out and whether with the binoculars come closer and see if they're worthwhile shooting. Okay, so.
It's a big bull feeding. It's not feeding, it's actually walking. It looks like he wants to go over the neck. I'm gonna have to hustle and get around.
Just popped out. So there it goes. We're gonna shoot one eye here. See how it goes. Gregg's gonna call him in a little closer for us, I guess. So
Which eye did it go out of? You're shooting on?
yeah.
Down! Stone dead!
Yeah!
Hey! That's it, man!
Well done,
Alright.
Well done. What a shot.
Well done, buddy!
Kregg up. Kregg up.
Left!
Hey, bless!
How much did you allow for the wind?
3 minutes. So I held 3 minutes. That wind was gusting really hard. I took 3 minutes, which is about 500 yards, about 15 inches.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is a beautiful old East Cape kudu, free range kudu. When we're going down there, you might see a little bit of a fence line, but that fence line is for sheep. There's no high fence, nothing here.
So Neil was saying they'll come to water, sometimes hop that fence. And
Yeah,
down
up the
below.
fence and go down the water. So let's go there, guys. We can get a decent fight of him still.
Okay. interesting thing. Played chess, cat and mouse with us for 4 hours. We sat there. Greg forgot lunch, so we sat out in the baking sun and wind for about 4 hours. And he gave us a shot. He moved in a little closer, but that wind was whipping. 20 miles an hour at times. I think Kregg had one peak out above 20, 25 miles an hour. Not a shot that we're happy taking at real long range. So the animal got in a little closer for us, just under 500, and worked out okay. Held about 3 minutes of wind, about 15 inches, and seemed to work.
Hunting apparel for long-range pursuit provided by Sitka and Kenetrek Boots of Montana. License applications made through Cabela's Tags. Brought to you by Gunwerks, G7 Optics, Night Force, Hornady, Flatline Ops, and Caldwell Shooting Supplies.
Okay, I'm not a film star. I'm actually just a farmer. Je moet lekker lag, jou bliksem.
Well,
I'm legally blind in that eye, but
The two of us are always lucky.
we're always lucky. We're normally lucky, but if it doesn't work, you can delete that off the camera.